Hello and welcome to this Price a Job tutorial. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Room Measurements tab and the Advanced Rooms editor. Within the Price a Job workspace, the navigation pane on the left contains a variety of panes, including Rooms, Calculations, and Reports. The Calculations pane is where we do all of the estimates within Price a Job, and where we spend most of our time. However, the Rooms tab offers a handy function that, when set up in advance, can greatly enhance your productivity and help you make complex jobs much simpler. It allows you to add a variety of floors, or you can also use it for outbuildings. In this case, we'll call this the ground floor. And on that floor, we'll have a variety of rooms, such as a living room, a kitchen, and a dining room. And then for each room, we can input the floor and ceiling areas, perimeter, height, and wall area of each room. So for example, let's say the living room is 10 by 20 feet. In that case, we would input 200 square feet for the ceiling and floor areas, with a perimeter of 60 feet. By default, Price a Job assumes that all rooms will be a standard 8 feet, but we can adjust that if necessary. And you'll notice that Price a Job automatically calculates the wall area for you based on these numbers. Next, let's say the kitchen is 15 feet square. So we would have a floor and ceiling area of 225 square feet and a perimeter of 60. And for the dining room, we'll just match that to be the same as the living room. 200, 200, and 60. But for this one, we'll keep the height at 8 feet. For a walls area of 480 square feet. Then we can add another floor if we need to by clicking the Add Floor button. And this might be the second level. So for the upstairs, let's input a master bedroom, and bedroom 2, and a full bath. And then we can input those measurements as well. And although Price a Job calls them floors, you could actually use this functionality to add outbuildings as well. So for example, let's say this property has an exterior garage. To include that, we can add another floor, but this time we'll select and change the label for this floor to garage. And then here we can add a couple of rooms. This one we can call parking, and the next we will call workroom. And then we'll fill in the various measurements for these. The advantage of having these filled in advance is that when we open up each of our various modules to calculate work estimates for any of these rooms, we won't have to keep inputting the same measurements for every module. So for example, let's open a module here for internal painting. Now if we want to paint the walls and ceiling, normally we'd have to calculate the area for each room. So for example, let's take a look at the ceiling area. In order to calculate the area of our ceiling, we might use the area calculator. And here we could add an area and select a shape and input our various measurements. And this is a handy function, but having to repeat it for each room for each module can be a little time consuming. So if we just go back, instead what we can do is click on the Rooms tab, and now within the Area Calculator, we see that all of our room measurements are already added. And now adding these rooms to our Area Calculator is as simple as just clicking on the plus icon here beside each of the measurements. So although it only lists the floor area here, this is considered equivalent to the ceiling area as well. So to paint our ceilings, if we want to paint the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room, we would just click these plus icons here, and each area is added to our area calculator. Let's just delete this shapes area that we added, and now we have the total ceiling area of our first floor, with a total area of 625 square feet. So let's go ahead and save that area calculator, and that's added to our ceiling paint area here in the painting stage. And we just saved a load of time in calculating the area for our painting job, and now we can move on to the next module. And in the case of a module of something like, say, for example, finishing trim, here we'll create this module. Setting up our rooms in advance is just as convenient since we've already calculated the perimeter of each of our ground floor rooms. So to calculate the baseboards, we could just go to the perimeter calculator here. And again, go to our rooms tab. And here we see all of the perimeters of our various rooms and floors already input. So to add skirting to all the main floor rooms, we would just click the plus icon beside the living room and the kitchen and the dining room here. And the perimeter of each of these rooms is added to our area calculator for a total of 180 linear feet. And we could save that amount. And that's added to our finished trim stage. And this is the way the Rooms tab has always worked, which is fine if all the rooms are basic rectangular shapes. However, with Price of Job's new upgrade, we've added a new Rooms Editor tool to help you calculate measurements of these rooms even with very complex shapes. So let's go back to our Rooms tab here in the left sidebar. And let's take a look at our master bedroom here. Here under the Edit Room column, we can click on this pencil icon here and open the Room Editor. And this opens the Advanced Room Measurements Editor. And here at the top, we can select from the drop-down list a variety of room templates. So we could select a bedroom, or an ensuite, or anything else from this list. We'll stick with bedroom, and we'll just manually adjust the title here to Master Bedroom to differentiate from the other bedrooms on this floor. And if we use the scroll wheel on our mouse, we can zoom in on this image and click down on that middle wheel to drag our image around so we can get a better view of this. And we can see that here in the sketch pane, that Price of Job has automatically calculated the area, perimeter, and walls area of this room for us, based on the template measurements. So the template for this room is set at 9 feet 10 inches by 16 feet 5 inches in a basic square configuration. And here in the sidebar, we can see that the height is set at 8 feet, with floor and ceiling areas of 161.5 feet, a perimeter of 52.5 feet, a walls area of 420 square feet, and so far we've added 0 openings. But we'll be able to add window and door openings to this to further fine-tune our walls area. And we can adjust the ceiling height by inputting a new value here. So let's set the height of our master bedroom for 10 feet tall, and we can see that the walls area automatically adjusts. However, to adjust the floor and ceiling areas and perimeter, we would have to adjust that here directly within the sketch pane. And to do that, we simply click on the relevant wall and drag it to the proper measurement. So let's extend this wall to 15 feet wide, and let's change this wall to 15 feet long. So now we'll have a 15-foot square room. And we can see as we make these adjustments that our floor area, ceiling area, and perimeter all automatically adjust. And now we have a 15 by 15 foot room. And that's fine for a basic square room, but if our room is irregularly shaped, we also have options over here in the right-hand pane where we can set this to be either a rectangular shape, an L shape, or a T-shaped room. And we can modify each of these into fairly unique shaped rooms. So for example, let's grab this wall here and extend it up like this. And grab this wall here and extend it out like this. And we can fine-tune these measurements as necessary. And very quickly we're able to modify this T-shaped room into a fairly complex shape with all of our measurements calculated for us. The next step that we'll have to do is to add any window or door openings. So here's the icon to add windows. So let's click on that. And now our cursor automatically changes to a Windows icon, and when we hover over one of the walls, the cursor automatically snaps to fit that wall. So let's go ahead and add a window here by clicking our mouse, and then add another window here, again by clicking our mouse, and one more window here by clicking our mouse. And when we're done adding windows, to exit the Windows tool, we just click the Escape button. Now when we hover over any of these windows, we can use the arrows here to either move that window on the wall or use the end arrows here to adjust the size of that window. And we can see the measurements of the window displayed there. And as we make these various adjustments, notice that our walls area is adjusted to compensate for the window openings and their adjusted sizes. When we're done positioning and resizing our windows, now we can add some door openings. So to do that, we'll click on the door openings icon here to add a door. And again, very similar to the Windows tool, as we hover our mouse over the various walls, the door will snap to fit directly onto that wall. So let's go ahead and click here to add a door there. And We click once to add the door, but then as we move our mouse around, we have to click again to select the door position. So here we can select whether this is an inward or outward swinging door and whether it swings to the left or the right. So we'll make this an inward swinging door opening to the right, and we'll click to position that door. And now we can do the same thing again to position another door. If we want, we can put a door here by clicking on the wall, and then we have to set the position by clicking our mouse again. And we can place as many doors as we want as well. And as we do so, notice that our walls area has been changing as well. We'll just add one more door here to witness the walls area change. And swing position there. And then again, to exit our doors tool, we just click the escape button. And similar to the windows, we can hover over each of our doors to either reposition the door on our wall or click the arrows on the end cap of the door to resize the width of the door. And as we do so, notice that the walls area is adjusting automatically. And now all of our measurements have automatically calculated the total area of openings for our windows and doors and deducted from the total walls area. So now we can go ahead and close this Rooms Editor window, and we can see all the advanced measurements for our master bedroom have been added to our Rooms tab. And now when we use any price of job modules to calculate the areas for this room, we can open up the area calculator and go to the Rooms tab. And here under the Rooms tab, we can see that our advanced calculations have been added to our area calculator. And we can add that to our amount just by clicking the plus icon. And now when we use any price of job modules that need room measurements, such as plastering, painting, or finishing trim, all of our areas, perimeters, heights, and wall areas will already be input to save us an enormous amount of time in calculating the areas for each of the various modules. And that's how to use the Rooms tab and the Advanced Rooms Editor. Thank you for using Price a Job.